Hello and welcome to the Rugby Roundup, December 18th, 2024. My name is Big Mike, here at Big Mike Sports. Now let's talk some rugby. This week we are looking at last week's European Champions Cup and Challenge Cup games, as well as the URC Top 14 and Men's Premiership, all kicking off again this weekend. Now, some slightly sad news. This will be the last weekly roundup of 2024 as we are heading into the holiday season, and I don't think I'll be able to do this with a mouth full of Christmas ham. But in good news, I will be releasing our Champions of 2024 and our International Men's Roundup of 2024 in the next couple of weeks. But for now, let's get to the roundup. We are going to start in Europe and South Africa in the Champions Cup, the top tier of competition in Europe. This was game 2 of 4 pool games that they will be having. This competition is shutting down for the holiday break and will be back in the second week of January. Now let's start with Pool 1. Exeter hosted Toulouse and went down 64-21. Ulster hosted Bordeaux, and another French team conquered as Bordeaux took this game 40-19. But Leicester destroyed the Sharks 56-17. What this leaves in Pool 1 is Toulouse and Bordeaux having 2 wins from 2, Leicester and the Sharks having 1 win and a loss, and Exeter and Ulster with no wins so far. In Pool 2, La Rochelle hosted the Bristol Bears and won 35-7. Leinster, Geordie Barrett's Leinster, took down Clermont 15-7. And in a beautiful tight game, Italy's Benetton got over the top place Premiership team Bath 22-21. Now, La Rochelle and Leinster are 2 wins from 2, Clermont and Benetton 1 win and a loss, and Bath and Bristol, the top 2 teams in the Prem, haven't had a win so far. In Pool 3 of the Champions Cup, we started with the Bulls hosting Northampton. Another South African team went down, this time Northampton taking it 30-21. Stade Francais hosted Saracens, and another home team lost, this time 28-17, but Castries, beautiful Castries, hosted Munster and defeated them 16-14. Northampton and Saracens actually doing England proud with 2 wins out of 2. Munster and Castries having a win and a loss, and the Bulls and Stade Francais with no wins so far. And finally in the Champions Cup, we have Pool 4 with Toulon hosting Glasgow. This was one of my big 3 games from last week. Toulon winning 30-29. Harlequins got a beautiful home win over the Stormers 53-16. And the Sale Sharks defeated Racing 29-7. Toulon being the only team that is undefeated so far in Pool 4, with Glasgow, Harlequins, Sale and Racing having a win each, and the Stormers 0 from 2. Now, some trends you might have noticed, some top teams from certain competitions going down in the Champions Cup, as well as no South African team getting on top. But this wasn't the case for all South African teams, as you'll find out when I talk about the Challenge Cup, which is now. Let's go into the Challenge Cup, second game out of 4 in the pools. We'll start with Pool 1. Connacht went away to Perpignan and won 31-18. Zebre, my mighty Zebre, hosted Lyon and nearly got on top, but went down 21-19. And Cardiff defeated the Cheetahs 26-10. Connacht and Lyon have 2 wins from 2. Cardiff having 1 win and a loss. Perpignan and the Cheetahs having a draw and a loss. And my beautiful Zebre, no wins so far. Pool 2. The Lions represented South Africa and finally got a win with a 43-35 home victory over Montpellier destroyed Ospreys 59-15. And the Newcastle Falcons went down to the Dragons, with this one being 22-14, meaning that the worst team in the URC is better than the second to last team in the English Premiership. Montpellier, only team with 2 from 2 so far, with the Dragons, the Lions and Ospreys all having a win and a loss, and the Newcastle Falcons being 0 wins and 2 losses. Finally, in Pool 3 from the Challenge Cup last weekend, Edinburgh hosted Bayonne and got up 52-12. Varn, my beloved Varn, had a huge win over Gloucester, 43-19. What a banger that was. And Scarlets, the Welsh Scarlets, 36-18 over the Georgian Black Lion. Interesting fact about Pool 3 and the Challenge Cup. Every single team has 1 win and 1 loss with 2 games remaining. The Challenge Cup is also coming back in that second week in January, with all of these teams going back to their domestic/URC competitions. Now this week we do not have a fun fact. In fact, we have a prize. I have a top listener from New Zealand. And I'm actually travelling to New Zealand next month. On the 11th of January, I'm getting married at my mum's house. A nice little family gathering, celebrate me, go me, alright. But to my top listener from New Zealand, who appears to be from Auckland, and R. King, if you are available on the 11th of January in the afternoon, you are more than welcome. And it would be an absolute delight if you can figure out where my mum lives. Just let me know in the messages. So the fun fact this week was actually about Big Mike. Now let's preview this upcoming week in men's professional club rugby. We will start with the URC, which is in round 8. I'll talk about the top 8 teams and what they are going to be up to this weekend. Leinster in first is hosting Connacht, who are in 8th, a lovely little Irish battle. There will be a Scottish battle with the second place Glasgow taking on 7th place Edinburgh. The big South African derbies this weekend. We've got the 3rd place Bulls hosting the 6th place Sharks, as well as the 5th place Lions, taking on the 13th place Stormers. The big one from Wales this week is the 4th place Cardiff taking on that last place Dragons. Can Cardiff continue their domination? And of course, let's go to Italy. We've got the Italy standoff, the Italia standoffs, with 12th place Benetton hosting 15th place Zibri. In France, in the top 14 in round 12, we also have a bunch of teams facing other teams from their country. We have first place Toulouse looking at Lyon, who are sitting in 13th. Bordeaux, second place, taking on the 7th place Castres. Toulon in 3rd, taking on the 10th place. In what might be a big game, we have the 4th place Clermont heading to La Rochelle, who are sitting in 6th. And 5th place Bayonne will be heading to my beloved Varn. Now, for the most part, most of the teams that are doing well in these competitions are doing well over in Europe. In England, it's a little bit different. As you heard, Bath and Bristol, who are sitting 1st and 2nd in the Premiership, have not had a win so far. The only 2 teams in England that are unbeaten are Northampton and Saracens, who are sitting in 8th and 4th place and will be taking on each other this weekend. We also have the 2nd place Bristol heading to the 3rd place Leicester, and Bath are hosting they're travelling to Newcastle to face the Falcons. Now, our quick roundup of last week's big 3 games was Leinster taking on Clermont and winning 15-7. That beautiful game, Toulon beating Glasgow 30-29. And Scarlets defeating Black Lion 36-18. Now this week's big three, one from every competition. We have from the top 14, 4th versus 6th, Clermont versus La Rochelle. From the Premiership, it is 2nd versus 3rd, Bristol heading to Leicester. And from the URC, I could have picked any game this week. But let's head to Italy with the Italian standoff. Benetton taking on Zebra. Now, as I won't be looking forward to next week, as we will be busy with the Christmas festivities, in all of these competitions, we're just going to keep on going. The URC will have more local derbies to keep these boys close to home for the holidays. And then I will be back next year, but as I said, keep an eye out for my Champions of 24 and my International Men's Roundup of 24 episodes that will be coming out in the upcoming weeks. But for now, it is time to sign off on another short Rugby Roundup, my last weekly one of the year. I thank you all of my regular listeners, everyone that follows me on the social medias, at Instagram at Big Mike Sports NZ and on YouTube at Big Mike Sports. It has been an absolute pleasure to have done this year for all of you and for myself as well. I absolutely love code, love rugby. It's running through my veins and I will share my blood with all of you. But for now, as always, have a beautiful week and watch some beautiful rugby. Merry Christmas.